Hello.
Bill Doyle, Worcester Telegram. Just wondering what you thought of the Celtics fans this year, and can a team really feed off the fans?
No question about the latter. And I've said this many times. I've been so impressed ever since I've been here with the Celtics fans. Um, but you can clearly feel the energy levels increasing as the months go by and as the days go by with this group, and certainly the last few months with the way that our guys have played in here and with the amount of energy in here. It's been incredible. It's been fun to be a part of. Hopefully, we can continue it. I mean, it was up there for sure. I didn't measure it, but I've been fortunate enough to be in some loud places. But it was up there. Certainly, if not the loudest, one of the loudest.
Coach Taylor Snow, Celtics.com. Tuesday, when Millsap, Scott, and Cephalosis were on the floor together, they made all 16 of their shots and had a plus.
That's pretty
27.
good.
Yeah. So, I mean, what was so effective about that lineup, and how do you defend it?
Good players, skill and speed at at 5 positions. That's the way the game is played in a lot of ways now, and it puts you in a tough spot. There's no question about it. I think obviously Millsap's strength, I'm sure many would say that Horford's probably more of a traditional four than a traditional center, right? And so Millsap's certainly not a traditional center by the older definition, but I think that those guys both have incredible strength, great mobility, and it allows them to utilize their skill and speed against guys at those spots, at the 4 and the 5.
Hey, Coach Cal. Against Isaiah, they trapped him. He gave the ball up. You guys made plays. But he lost some of his aggressiveness. Do you need him to be more aggressive? Is that your responsibility to put him in better positions to score? Or are you happy with him giving the ball up and playing out of that?
You just have to make the right basketball play. I mean, he's going to have the ball a ton for us. He's going to be off the ball in actions for us. He's going to have to read how he should screen. He's going to have to read when he gets the ball how he's being played, and you just have to make the right basketball play. And I think that there's certainly things that you can do to alleviate some of that. But like I've said many times, I felt like we attacked it really well at the start of the game, and I felt like there was certainly part of their scoring runs was some bad offense on our part in the latter parts of the game. But I left thinking Isaiah made a lot of the right basketball plays. And so that's his charge. He's got to do that, and everybody else will follow suit.
Coach Sam Packer, WEI. If they continue to blitz and double Isaiah in the pick and roll, what do you have to do to take advantage of those 4-on-3 opportunities?
Well, they've done. I think the blitz is one thing, but they've stayed with Isaiah the whole series. So this is like. So we've been through 5 games of first 4. They were mostly back with Horford, but up with Millsap. So they were up most of the time when you set it with anybody but Horford. But they always stayed with the ball. And we all know that they packed the rim and packed the paint against Isaiah in the first 4 games. Well, the one tweak, right, is when they blitz is now the ball is extended and you have more room once you pass out of it to attack. And so, you just have to make the right read, whether it's a catch and shoot, whether it's a catch and rip and drive. Somebody else gets into the paint and makes the right read out of that, and that's part of it. And we've got a lot of good players that can do that, and I believe in them that they'll do that, and Isaiah does too. And but Isaiah can't force. If people are going to if they're going to put 2 to the ball, that's when you just got to make the right basketball play.
Josiah White, Blue Hill Boys and Girls Club. When you have 2 of the best perimeter defenders as far as Isaiah Thomas and as well as Marcus Smart, what is your strategy when protecting the rim as far as length?
What's our strategy as far as protecting the rim with those guys? Well, obviously, our strategy as a team and what we think is one of our greatest strengths, and obviously it's enhanced when Avery Bradley's available, is to be able to get into the ball and make it as tough on the perimeter players as possible and defending perimeter players. And hopefully the impact that we can have on the ball makes it harder to get to the rim. And that's kind of been our philosophy all year. And bigs need to play great position for us and everything else. You know, but other than Amir, we don't have a ton of shot blocking. And so we just have to be good in our position early. We have to impact the ball early.
Abby Chin, CSN. Assuming the way you're talking, Isaiah is good to go, what do you know about the ankle and how much pain he's in, and then any changes to the lineup or anything like that?
No changes to the lineup, and he has not mentioned. I mean, he told me on Tuesday night after the game. He sent me a text late in the night and said he's fine. I saw him again yesterday before we met in film and on the plane, and he felt fine. You know, no issues with swelling per se, and you know, today it was just as simple as a nonverbal thumb up. So it's not, you know, he's good to go. He's ready to roll.
Brad, Jimmy Toscano, CSN. It's kind of a two-part question. The first is, did you sense anything different from the players coming in today, or whether it was in the walkthrough, being an elimination game? And the second part is there anything you can take away from last season's elimination game?
Well, I think it's so different. I mean, the series are so different. You're playing a much different team that plays much differently. You know, certainly Cleveland did some things defensively that Atlanta's doing, but Atlanta, you know, just systematically on both ends of the floor is just a totally separate entity than Cleveland was at that time or is now. And I think the biggest thing that you take away, or that when the guys walk in, you know, they came in, we went through our shoot around, typical day. Like their focus is always pretty good. It was good again today, and just ready to compete and excited to play in this building.
Brad, Jake Fisher with Sports Illustrated. Similar to what Jimmy asked, one of the most impressive elements of this team this year was playing in the second night of back-to-backs. Do you approach tonight kind of the same way you would those games?
Yeah, I mean, we've been pretty good in those situations for a while now, you know, but it's obviously not the second night of a back-to-back, 48 hours later. But, you know, both teams traveled yesterday. We did a typical light film session, and then, you know, went on our way and came back together today and got ready for it. So, hey, you're playing a team for the 10th time, the 7th time in the last few weeks. And so a lot like a back-to-back, or maybe not like a back-to-back, but you know these guys, they know you. We got to make small, potentially minor changes. But at the end of the day, we just have to play better than we did the other day. You know, that's the thing. Like the best adjustment we can make is to keep our guy in front of us, challenge shots, and on the other end, spray the ball around and make them. You know, and that's the way it goes.
Coach, Scott Souza, Metro West Daily News. Obviously, you're going with shorter rotations this year than you did last year in the playoffs. How much is Evan's ability to play a couple of different positions both helped you be able to do that and also be able to do some of what you've tried to do with Isaiah? And, you know, was that the type of player that you thought you were getting when he decided to come here 2 years ago?
Well, in this series, you know, there's not there's a lot of what you would probably consider and we would consider traditional 1s and 2s playing the 1, 2, and 3, and that's on both sides of the ball. And so they are, you know, that's going to each guy's going to play more positions than usual. Terry Rozier may play the 2 with Isaiah in at the 1. Evan's going to play all 3, 1 through 3. Jay Crowder's playing 1 through 4. Jonas has played 3 through 5. But I think what's been very evident is the speed of Atlanta has forced us to be in their ballpark speed-wise, and because the way that they spread you, the way that they stretch you. Mike Scott shooting the ball the way he has in a few of these games, certainly. Millsap's ability to stretch you, Horford's ability to stretch you, it forces us all to play with our feet. And, you know, so everybody all the guards have to be able to guard a position up, and all the bigs have to be able to guard a position down.
Coach Mark D'Amico, Celtics.com. You said that today is a typical day, but in the playoffs with so many minor tweaks that you have to install on game days, when you walk through shoot-arounds, how different are they now in the postseason, particularly when this is 2 straight games where you haven't had a practice? How different are the shoot-arounds than they were during the regular season?
We you know, one of the things that I believe in is you create a way that you prepare. And so, you know, obviously you're more in depth because of the knowledge you have of the opponent as far as your players go. And so, you know, it may happen quicker or on the fly. You may be able to do something quicker or more on the fly right now. But, you know, as far as, you know, how much different we're doing or anything else, I've said this before. I said this yesterday. My job's to simplify this. You know, if as a coach and our coaching staff, we've got to do a lot of work to make it as simple as possible, because this is a game where we just need to play well. You know, we need to play the right way on both ends of the floor, and it's hard to do that with a cluttered mind. And so, you know, we're gonna make what we're gonna change what we need to change, but we're gonna go out there and play free and hard, and you know, hopefully can put ourselves in a great position to have a chance to win.